Galatians chapter 5. What is a carnal Christian? Have you ever heard that expression before? It's spoken about right here in Galatians chapter 5. It means that we are walking in the flesh. We're not walking in the Spirit. Galatians chapter 5 begins teaching us about the work of the Holy Spirit in each one of our lives. And that's in contrast to a natural conflict within our hearts, our minds, our spirit. Paul says in Galatians chapter 5 that literally the flesh is in conflict or at war with the Spirit. The carnal Christian is the one that's not walking in the Spirit, but walking in the old nature, walking literally in the flesh. He mentions it in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, and he writes to the church and he says, I can't even speak to you as spiritual men and women of God. I'm writing to you as carnal Christians because they were living in the flesh. They weren't living and walking by the Holy Spirit. Paul then gives us a description of what a carnal Christian looks like. For an example, ask yourself, are you a carnal Christian? Ask yourself, the people that you meet with and you work with, or your family or your friends, your children or your parents, are they carnal Christians? Well, how in the world can you know, even yourself, if you're a carnal Christian? Paul explains it right here in Galatians chapter 5. I would refer to these items or areas or characteristics as being the fruit of the flesh. And he gives us this incredible list: hostility, hate, envy, anger, ambition, discord, dissension, division. When you're with someone and they begin to display these characteristics of anger or dissension or discord, they become hostile. They start acting out. Maybe it's happened to you at the supermarket or a parking lot. Maybe it's happened to you at a mall or in your workplace. And you say, I don't understand. Am I working with the spirit of darkness? And it may be you're working with the spirit of flesh. The fruit of the flesh. People get frustrated, and then they wind up with friction between other people, and then they wind up doing foolish things, saying foolish things. Paul ascribes it all to the work of the flesh. But thanks be unto God, we don't have to walk in the flesh, Paul wrote. We can walk in the Holy Spirit. And every one of these attributes is in contrast to the flesh. Instead of hate, it's love. Instead of division and discord, it's unity, loyalty, support. It's words of encouragement, not words of discouragement. Paul lays it all out in all of his letters. He begins in Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. I have been crucified with Christ. What does it mean? It means my flesh, my old nature, has been crucified with Christ. And it's no longer I that live, but it's Christ that lives within me. Which means that the Holy Spirit will shield your heart and your mind and your spirit. And when others, I don't know, they trash you or they try to put a stain upon your spirit, you have a shield because your flesh is dead and you're walking in the Spirit. He really explains it in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 when he says, behold, I'm a brand new creation. The old man, or that is the flesh, the old sinful nature, it's gone. And I've become a brand new person. And he caps it off in Romans chapter 12. Be ye transformed. Don't conform to the way and the behavior and the customs of the world, not their strategies. Don't get in the muck and the mire with the world and try to negotiate and defend yourself like the world does. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Allow God to change you. Thanks for joining me on my morning prayer walk as I fill my heart with Galatians chapter 5. We don't want to be carnal Christians. We want to be transformed and walking by the Holy Spirit. Tomorrow I want to share with you something that absolutely transformed my life, and it's found right here in Galatians chapter 5. There is a prayer that I have been praying for 10 years. It's brought me such deep joy. In the middle of storms and chaos, it's given me great peace. And tomorrow I want to teach it to you. I want to share with you to walk in a deeper way in your path. Join me as we continue our study through the book of Galatians, beginning in chapter 5. You be blessed today, and as I finish my walk, I'll be praying for you and praying for your family. Together, today, let's walk in the Spirit and not in the flesh.